Yo, what's up, homies? Remember when I said I'm gonna be very addicted to this most recent update? Well, I wasn't kidding. So not only do I have 4 shulkers full of the leaf litter, but yeah, I've been experimenting. And by experimenting, I mean placing stuff everywhere. I mean, we got started here. Maybe this tree's losing some leaves, you know, they're blowing around. And yeah, we got some leaf litter underneath all our trees. Well, not all of them, but we did start with this area just a bit. And then, you know, over around our bench, kind of just these trees for now, but we got some firefly bushes around, and down on this part of the port, I'm doing a little bit of experimenting with, you know, maybe leaves are blowing up in the corner over here, or down here a little bit further, just, you know, some leaves on the ground around one of these bushes. And I think that adds like the perfect amount of detail that we just so desperately needed to give it a more realistic feel. And did I go overboard with it? Probably. Does it look fantastic? Why, yes, it does. And maybe we'll get to use a little bit more. Oh, I did some of these grasses too. I forgot. Just, you know, place them sporadically. I've kind of come around on them. They may not look the best, but they do break it up a little bit. But yeah, anyways, we may get to use some more of that today because we are going to do a couple more buildings up here on the second tier. Well, hopefully a couple. At least one right here. We're going to have a nice bakery right here. I love baking. I always like building bakeries, and we don't have one yet in our port city, so bakery it is. And then if we've got time next to it, I want to do a nice flower shop, like just a beautiful flower shop with green everywhere, you know, mossy this, mossy that. Ooh, actually, maybe I can put some of that moss to use that I've been finding everywhere. I haven't decided how far back we're gonna go, but we're definitely gonna start going this way and around soon. But yeah, for now, the plan is a bakery. So let's go get all of, well, not all of, but a lot of the materials we're gonna need. All right, so we got our stuff set up in the apartment's flower bed over here. I didn't ask permission, but hopefully they'll not be too mad at me. So now the question is, where do we build it? Do we build it exactly off of the corner of this? So say like here, or do we go out further and this way? I kind of want to do it closer to the building right here, just so that, you know, it's a tight walkway, just, you know, a tight alley walkway right through here. And the building is going to be shaped, you know, this will be the entrance right here, but then it's going to kick back and then come over like this, and then there will be, you know, maybe some arches right here, but this will be open. You know, they might have like bread baskets out here or something to sell all of their goods and stuff. But actually what I'm thinking, what if we moved it down this way so that the end of the building was, you know, somewhere over here? Then we could just redo this path to kind of, ooh, we could even put, you know, stairs right there. But then it's just kind of a tight path to get over into the guard tower. I kind of like that idea a little bit. So then maybe we could move it down to like there. And then the front of it would be like that with the entrance being there. And that way, whenever we go to build a flower shop, we could just build it right off of this and, you know, kind of come this way. I think we may do that. I like that idea. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the layout if we leave it moved over here, which I think we're going to. I think this is where it's going to be. So this is pretty much going to be closed up, and then there's going to be the doorway right here. So you'll come in here, and this will all be closed up. This will kind of just be like a mudroom type thing, like, you know, an entryway. Then you'll come over here into the actual bakery. We're going to have some display cases in here, you know, displaying all of the goods that they're selling. And actually, maybe we should come back even further so that we can build a kitchen on the back. But yeah, we'll figure that out. So yeah, this will be the main bit of the bakery in there. And then over here is where we're going to have, like, you know, the pillars like this that'll just lead up, and then this will be the open area where the bread baskets and, you know, cookie displays or whatever will be. Or since this is like the main staircase, do we switch the entrance to this side? Hold on, let's see, because I do kind of like it, you know, lining up with the staircase over here. So this would be kind of cool to have, you know, the whole display thing over here kind of close to the farmer's market area. So I think we're going to keep it just like this. I like how this is looking. So yeah, this is going to be the general shape of the building. And then the last thing I'm undecided on really is if we will do this and enclose this and use this as like a staircase to get up to the second level, if we have a second level. I don't know if we're going to do one on this. We may just do a bakery. So I did make one more adjustment, and I just added another row of blocks back here. So we're going to go back 4 more blocks in the back, and the display area in here is, you know, maybe it'll go back to like there'll be a counter here, or maybe even up here a little further, but then the kitchen back here will just be open. Like, you'll be able to see it all from up in the display area up here. So we're just going to have a kitchen built right in, and then rather than extending this back like that and doing a staircase in there, I think what we're going to do is add a doorway probably back here so that it's into the kitchen and not like the public area. But then right out here, we'll have a little area. I don't know if there'll be much here, but back here we'll have a staircase that leads down and like a little bridge across the water. And then we'll have a sugarcane farm over on the other side, since they're obviously going to need sugar for all of the baking goods. And as for the rest of the ingredients, you're going to have to wait and see. So on to the building, and you know, the entrance is going to look generally like this, like the stone bricks and mossy stone bricks, but the rest of the building is going to kind of follow this template with, you know, stone stuff on the bottom, and then the calcite and the, what is this stuff? Smooth quartz block, I believe. Yeah, but that stuff's going to be on top. I think we might do the same style building as this with like living quarters above it, you know, just to kind of fit the same vibe as the rest of it. The only thing I think I might do a little bit different is all back here on the bottom, I might do just stone. Maybe some bricks here and there, like where maybe something fell apart and needed to be repaired, but I think we may do that, but you know, only one way to find out. So let's get started on this thing. So the entrance is going to be a door right here. And I may have actually just changed my mind. What if we do the door back here? And then this is kind of just like, you know, one of those, I don't even know why I said that. I don't know what it would be called, but you know, something here, I'll just mock it up real quick. Something like this, where then there's like this nice little archway in here and, you know, that leading into where the door is. I think we might do that instead. So then the front could look something like this, and it just leads into the front door being here, and then you come in and walk over into the bakery. I think we're going to do that. So perhaps a little something just like this for the entryway. And then up here, maybe we will leave that until we get up to the second floor. So then we need to start on the actual building, which, like I said, we're going to do mostly stone. I haven't really decided what we're going to mix in with the stone. I didn't really get that far. But for now, let's just lay out the base of this so that we can go sleep and then get cooking right through this bad boy. All right, so we've got it generally laid out. We have the whole entrance here, which, I mean, we may do some windows, but it kind of also depends on where this other building is going to be. So we may wait on that as well. But yeah, the entrance into the bakery. Wow, look at it, it's done. But yeah, we've got the entrance set up, and obviously we're not going to leave a dirt and grass floor, but, you know, give me some time. So I guess what we're just going to do is build up the walls so that we can start forming this thing into a building. All right, so here we are. We have a building, which means now we just gotta form some windows. How do we want to do the windows? Maybe we'll do some 2x2 windows. I think we will do that, and then I think we might also... Oh, wait, we can't do that, because this goes right up against there, so we could do it like this. So we'll leave it like this. We'll do the trapdoor technique that we used, you know, down in the farmer's market. Then we gotta add our pillars in here. We'll do some mossy ones over here, why not? And yeah, this is kind of what it's gonna look like. Now, as for the rest of the building, I had an idea for over here. I want to try and put, like, you know, a couple blocks like this, and then connect them over to, oh my god, get out of the way, grass. Connect them over to the building like that, and put like iron bars here so that, you know, you're not allowed to come back here into the guard's tower, you know, something like that maybe. And maybe actually we will use this part where we connect that as, you know, do a little bit of patchwork with some stone bricks. There, a little something like that we could do. And then maybe this one we'll formulate something on this corner a little bit. Some bricks, maybe some mossies mixed in here. And there. Now that corner is bricked. And then maybe we'll do one more little one over here. Like, you know, just a little something like this. There we go. But I think I want to leave the rest of it as stone. I don't know why, but I do. Now for the floor. What kind of floor do we do? Do we just stick with the stone since it's right on this same level as the rest of the stone? Or do we do wood? Do we do wood so it's a little bit more comfy? And I think we're going to do wood. So we've got our wood shulkers that we'll place up over here with, you know, framing out the door, I guess. And what do we do? Do we do spruce or do we do dark oak? I think we're going to do spruce. I don't want it to be super dark in there. So yeah, let's go with some spruce. And I can't open it because Still have a lantern on the ground. So spruce it is. Let's get cleaning this area out so we can actually make a floor. And there we go. We've got a floor. We're not going to add in any of our, spruce logs stripped or anything just yet because we haven't figured out where everything's going to be. So we're going to leave it as is for now. And I think what we'll do next is I want a door. We need a door on there. Let's do a nice dark oak door. And I think we'll do, I like pressure plates. It makes it easy. I know a lot of people don't, but I actually don't know that. I kind of just made that up. So if it's not true, whatever. But yeah, pressure plates. That's all me. Then I can just run in and it closes behind me, which is beautiful. I messed up. It's a big time mess up. I just recorded a whole bunch of stuff and it turns out my mic was muted. I'm losing my mind with everything going on right now. So this is what we got for the interior so far. These are all going to be like display cases to showcase, what we have to sell in the bakery. And then we ended up doing the floor now that we have that in place. And then we got some furnaces over here, a sink, some storage. And this is where you need to tell me if I am an idiot or not, even though we know that I am an idiot. But we've got a wood-fired oven and I put some gilded blackstone in there, kind of to just simulate like maybe some of it's not quite as hot as the magma. Does that make sense? But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. So you guys let me know. So now I think we're going to start on the second story and I think we're going to time lapse it. So let's get it. All right, so the bakery is pretty much getting buttoned up nicely. It's looking pretty good, pretty clean, pretty green. It's looking pretty good. So I guess we'll start out here since we're, over here. We did end up doing the fence and you saw that because I was messing with the noises that these made. Obviously, I forgot. Yeah, so this is our little like market out front of the bakery. So I want to do something like this in, the other two, what are these things called? I've actually got no idea. Composters. The composters. Yeah, I want to do something like this with, maybe some cookies or something else, or maybe just bread like this. I mean, it looks terrible from other angles, but yeah, just kind of that little thing, like baguettes sticking out of a container. But yeah, that's the market. So let's go inside and check out the interior that I'm not really done with, but we've got some cakes on display over here. I'm probably going to switch this one up. It kind of just blends in a little bit too much. So maybe we'll do wood there. All right, I did just switch it up. It's not wood, but looks a little bit better, I think. But anyways, so we've got these display cases over here, which I am so excited about. They actually looked like display cases. I did not know that you could put something like this. Maybe it's just because I have the invisible item frames actually, because I was all ready to do like redstone, use a piston to push the glass down onto whatever the heck these are. But yeah, now I don't have to. So we got some bread, cookies, and pumpkin pies in the display cases. So you can come in here and order all of the goodies that you could possibly need. And it's a little bit dark over here and I have one lantern on me. So we're going to hang it right there. And then yeah, you come back here. You've got the wood for the, you know what I'm trying to say. Plus, we've already looked at it. Sorry. Anyways, so then we go through the door, and we've got a pumpkin farm out here so that we can continue making our... What are these pumpkin pies? So yeah, we've got this going right here. Just, you know, grow a few pumpkins here and there and then harvest them, bring them inside and greened it up a little bit. Same thing with over here. I placed one vine right there and it's already done that. Yeah, that's a little bit absurd. But anyways, so we've got our path working this way now and it goes right down the mountain across this small bridge. And we've got a sugarcane farm, which we can actually harvest and expand. So let's do that quick. All right, so we replanted all that. But yeah, look at this. We did a little bit of detailing all around here. I ran out of bone meal, I guess. I must have just forgotten to do that area. But yeah, so this is the sugarcane farm to the bakery. As for the other stuff that we need for the baking goods, so we need wheat for this. We need like sugar and milk and, you know, all that sort of stuff for this. Well, lucky for us, we essentially have a chicken farm up there at the fortress. So, you know, we can just run up there and take some eggs to use in our baking needs. And then, of course, we've got our windmill over in our small village outside the castle that is, you know, it's essentially a wheat farm. So maybe we import the wheat from there. And then even just a little bit further down the walkway, we've got our farmhouse. And, you know, maybe we import the milk from here that we need. So I think we've got everything buttoned up pretty well. It's all within the lore of the builds that we've done so far. So we don't need to, you know, make a whole new farm for everything in here. So that works. So I do want to do some more with the interior in here, but I'm not entirely sure what. And we also have yet to do anything in the interior upstairs in the living quarters. But I also really want to build a flower shop right here. And we've got some time, I think, even though it's Thursday evening at 5:12. And I have essentially one day to do whatever's next. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. What should we do now? The details inside of that or start a flower shop? Okay, flower shop, it is awesome. Thank you guys. I love you. So I need to run back home with 2 rockets. Oh, this is actually going to be close. And I got to get all of my moss and actually some bone meals because I'm going to need to, I'm going to need some more, I think. It's not quite going to be enough. I can confirm that 18 is just simply not enough. So we'll grab a whole bunch of bones and let's go make some. And I forgot to grab rockets while I was there, so let's just soar right on through the ruined tower. And we're back. So we came a little bit further away from our build that we got going on over there. Oh, you can still see it. Cool. And we're just gonna spread some moss and do a little bit of harvesting. So let's get to this and then we'll get back over there. So I just got back over here and I noticed that somehow I managed to harvest exactly 3 stacks of moss blocks. Don't know how I pulled that off, but we'll roll with it. So I think we are just going to dive right into another time lapse because who doesn't love dual time lapses? But really, I just want to dive right into this thing and rip right through it and, you know, see what I can come up with because I have no idea what I'm going to do with this one. It's going to be genuinely off the dome. So here we go. The flower shop time lapse. Let's go. So I have this resource pack, right? And it's from Vanilla Tweaks. It's kind of, it like puts bees as like a more realistic size. Well, I believe it also multiplies how many there are. Yeah, so I got a ton of bees following me like all the time. Like, it's a little bit funny. It's I feel like I'm being swarmed by bumblebees right now, which I guess I kind of am. So let me put that away and let them go on their way. But yeah, so we've got a flower shop. And what do you think of this thing? I'm actually pretty happy with it. I've never really done anything funky with the roof like that. And, you know, I think it came out actually pretty good for considering I'm kind of a rookie with that stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So we've got our flower shop. Let's actually start over here with all of our shulkers and stuff. So this is going to be like the main attraction, I guess you could call it. Like when you first come up the stairs, there's going to be, you know, the bakery, the Brynstead bakery over here. And then you've got this beautiful flower shop. It's all greened up, mossy this, mossy that, moss. And yeah, I think you could probably get the vibe that it's a flower shop just since, you know, there's flowers everywhere. But anyways, we got some beehives around, you know, one there, there's one inside, there's one on the tree back there, which I'm pretty happy with that tree too. But yeah, so we got a little English garden type thing in here with some gravel walkways going around just to check out all of the cool flowers that are here. And I think we may do something not exactly like this, but for the shop inside, just like, you know, pathways around with, you know, maybe some storage blocks here, and then the walkway will go around, and, you know, like aisles, I guess would be the smarter way of putting that. My brain did get there in the end, so you can't yell at me. But yeah, then outside the walls, we went a little wild with some cactus flowers and wildflowers and, you know, the bushes and firefly bushes. It's looking kind of cool out here. It's looking pretty wild, I would say. But this tree, I kind of just, you know, freestyled on a tree, and I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. I don't know what kind of tree it would mimic for that matter, but I do think it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. We got some leaf litter on the ground, obviously, because, you know, I love the leaf litter. And then just around the back of the building, we got some more moss and, you know, bushes climbing up the building, and same thing with over on this side. This is kind of like a little alleyway now. So we've got our pumpkin patch that leads out. We've got the building here, and this will just lead you right down the stairs. So, and let me tell you, I am so happy with how this is all coming out. But then back around front, of course, we haven't gotten to the interior, and I don't know if I have time to do that today. It would be cutting it really, really close, I think. But you know what? Screw it. Let's do an interior. So we're going to rip through this interior together, I believe. We're going to set the whole thing up. Hopefully I have enough time. Jeez, it's already 1:30 in the afternoon. But yeah, so I went around and scavenged pretty much every flower that I could find, whether it was wild or in storage, including a closed eye blossom and, you know, these couple things here. But I think that's actually pretty much every flower. I can't really think of any that I'm missing. I'll have to try and do a Google at some point to see. Let's start setting things up a little bit. I actually just realized I didn't bring any barrels with me. We need some barrels. So what I'm thinking, I already mentioned a little bit, but like kind of, you know, circular, well, not circular, but aisles that you can walk around so that it's not like everything's up along the walls like I usually do. I'm kind of feeling like I'm doing the same thing too often. So what if we did like just little pods like this where you can go in and grab whatever you're trying to buy? Ooh, that's really bothersome that doesn't line up right there. And on the top. What? So maybe we'll leave the entrance open a little bit more so that you can get in here. I almost just whiffed on that one. So let's see. The walkway, you'll come in right here. So maybe we'll have the first one like kind of like this. And we'll do 4 across with a path on either side like that. I think we could get away with that. Then we'll do 4 more here. We could do a row right down the middle like this. Obviously, that's a little too close. But yeah, so there's 5 there. How many flowers do we have? We have to get 19 spots for the flowers and stuff. So we've got 5 here, we've got 8 over here, which means we need, what, 6 more? So what if we just did another row of that, and then I guess we could just do like maybe a couple standalone ones up here for, I don't know, maybe we have some, ooh, we could put the closed eye blossom here, and then, I don't know, maybe a sunflower here or something. And then we've also got to see what does and does not fit in flower pots. So if they don't fit in a flower pot, what I want to do is somehow suspend it from the ceiling, like the box, and then plant the flower underneath it. And I kind of just decided I want to do that for everything. Wow, did you see that bee? That sounds like a really cool idea, and like what I'm doing now, like it's not as generic as I usually do, but it's not as fun as it could be. So let's do something really fun and different and like hanging stuff from the ceiling. Don't know how, but yeah, we gotta figure it out. So here is what I'm thinking instead. We're going to do like flower boxes or raised gardens, whatever you want to call them. And with it laid out like this, we actually have, I think, 2 or 3 spots that won't be taken up, which let's just throw some trapdoors down so that we can see how this is going to look in full. Trapdoors have been placed. We've got 2, 10, and then this is a row of 11, I believe. Yeah, but we should have plenty of room to do this now. I think what I'm gonna do actually is switch this up just a bit because we have 4 tall flowers. So maybe we will just make a 4-spot long bed over here for the tall ones. And that way we can do each of them just like this, make it nice and easy. But we're gonna switch the sunflower because that one's kind of weird and it keeps, oh, now it goes in a different spot on the block. So just this block, it's got to be in that back corner. It's a bit obnoxious, but all right, we'll put this one back. And now that way we can come right up here and place our barrels right on top of each flower. Little something like that. And that way we can somehow suspend that from the ceiling, which that's going to be an interesting one. And then it's just going to be the same thing for pretty much all of these, I believe. So I guess we can throw all of the barrels down since we know where they're going to be at least. Who knows what the flowers are going to do. So there we go. And now that those are up there, I am absolutely loving how this looks. I'm so excited. So let's see. We can put each flower in its respective barrel now and empty up some space in our inventory so we can do stuff. So next we're going to do my other favorites, which of course are orchid, lily of the valley. The closed eye blossom is just really cool. So let's do the closed eye blossom right there. Then we'll do the orchid and the lily of the valley. And then I do like the alliums, so we'll put those there. And then the other side, oops. And then the other side we'll do the 4 different tulips that I have. Are there other colors of tulips? I swear these are the only 4, but please tell me there's not other colors. I'm gonna feel so silly. We'll do the azalea tree down there, I think. So up in here, we will put the dandelion, then we got the ox-eye daisy, and then we got the cornflower, and then we got the azure bluette. I honestly didn't even know that's what that was called. And the poppies, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 spots. I could do the azalea bush that's not blooming. So I've got 3. Oh my goodness, I just thought of something. I forgot that we just had a nice new update involving flowers. So we got some things that should fill up the rest of the spots. And I only brought 1 wildflower on accident. Whoops. Oh wait, I have this. 1, 2, 3. There we go. You're full. Then we can do the cactus flower and the firefly bush and the regular bush. And then here, I think we will just do these and bone meal it so that we got some glowberries here. And there we go. All of them are filled up. And look at that. We've got a flower shop. We're done. So now we get to do the fun stuff. I say that like doing this wasn't fun. I mean, this was just incredible. But anyways, we got to try and suspend these things from the ceiling and do all of the detailing, which is my favorite. Now, what I'm trying to decide is if I should use, if I should use oak logs as, you know, the beams for suspending them, or just do like kind of lattice across up here with the fence and the fence gates. All right, so this is what we would be looking like if we used the fence as the beams and all that. And to be honest, I'm thinking of changing it. So let me switch it to some oak logs real quick and then make a final decision, I think. All right, so I switched them to the oak logs, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm liking that way better. I'm not gonna do a cross beam all the way across this way. It's just gonna be what you see here. So maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, maybe it's realistic, maybe it's kind of not. Like, this is a long span, but it'll be okay, we'll survive. So anyways, now we get to do the detailing, and I am excited. So firstly, we're gonna do the ceiling, and essentially my plan for that is to make it look basically like a canopy, just leaves everywhere, and basically like you're standing underneath a tree. So I brought a whole bunch of leaves, and let's see if we can't come up with, you know, something that looks good, but also lets the light in the windows and doesn't block the, I almost said bird's nest, the bee's nest. So I guess we'll just start placing some leaves around and yeah, just see how we can get this thing looking. I am so unbelievably excited with how this thing came out. Firstly, I mean, look at the vines on the outside just going bonkers. I don't know if I'm gonna trim them though. I kind of think they fit in with this building. You could probably hear that I'm pretty happy about this. Let's get in here and take a peek at our interior, and it is complete. And it is beautiful. So yeah, we did the whole canopy idea, and I'm not gonna lie, it came out. I didn't think I'd be able to get this to look decent, and I think it actually ended up coming out pretty dang good. We got some glowberries hanging from the ceiling for, you know, light in the evenings, even though we do have lanterns up there on top of the beams, but they don't really light the floor that much. So yeah, we used some glowberries, not only decoratively, but they're actually functioning and bringing us light in the evenings. And then I threw one of the tall flowers in each one of the corners. And yeah, this is, to me anyways, it's feeling pretty dang magical. It's feeling like just a beautiful flower shop in here. And I think, I put this honey block here, kind of just experimenting with, you know, the honey sliding down the glowberries, and then, oh, suddenly it's making a big pool of honey on the floor. And I decided I didn't really like that, but I forgot to remove it. So yeah, don't judge. I actually think I might keep it now that it's there and kind of like, you know, out in the open and everybody's seen it. So yeah, it'll stay. But something I just noticed, I did not bone meal 4 of those glowberries up there. So do the bees like germinate them and, you know, make, oh, this one too. When the bees pollinate them, does it grow glowberries on them? That would be kind of awesome. But yeah, anyways, this is the flower shop, and I'm very happy we got through this today. This thing came out absolutely incredible. Like, I'm not kidding. This may have jumped to, like, you know, top 5 of my favorite builds that I've done all time. I mean, I kind of can't believe it. All right, enough tooting my own horn. Yeah, so this is the flower shop. And ladies and jellyfish, I believe that is all we have time for today, because it's almost dinner time and I'm really, really hungry. So if you're new here and you liked, you know, either one of the builds we did today, the bakery or the flower shop, please subscribe. We're really getting close to 2,000 now, and that's kind of unbelievable, not gonna lie. But anyways, yeah, do the whole like, share, subscribe, comment thing, and, you know, thank you guys so much for the support. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Love you. Bye.